Hello, hello, ladies. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday to all of you. I hope that you all are well. As you can see, I am back in town. I'm back feeling very settled and rested. And I wanted to make sure that I went live today to connect with our community. It may be Tuesday. You might be watching this on an alternate day. I have found a lot of us, like, whether you join live or don't join live, most of the time it's so funny. I have people messaging me after the fact, and they watch the live late at night or the next day or even the next week. And so whenever you happen to make it here, welcome to the Momathon Movement. I am Christina Garrett. I am your productivity coach, the voice in the back of your mind reminding you that it is okay for you to become a new person, an edited version, to step into the very real and exciting places in your life to become that girl. Right, to become the woman that goes after the goal, but you got to organize your busy world in order to make it happen. Okay, so today we're talking about something that is near and dear to my heart. I'm going to make sure that we are live in all the places first. Yes, we are. Hey, everybody. Good morning. I'm excited because I know that what we're going to be talking on and teaching this week is transformational. Okay. I know that there have been moments in our lives where we struggle with how are we going to make it happen? How are we going to get it done? When am I going to get it done? How am I going to pull this off? And instead of us spending so much time mulling over it, the goal of our community is to infuse you, to give you an insurgence of knowledge and information and strategy so that you move from overwhelmed and overthinking into a place of feeling fruitful and productive in half the time. It is my commitment that we do this with our families in tow, that we do this while loving our spouses, while being connected and sowing into our children, and making sure that we're becoming the woman, the people that we said we were going to become. Like, all week I'm back in coaching mode. I was on vacation last week. Y'all can see my tan, right? My Puerto Rican tan. Hi, Lude. And so anyway, being out of town and traveling and then coming back to the coaching calls and working with our ladies again, I found across the board, like, this beautiful itch that we have to move and go to the next level. But then there are times where we also feel like, am I ready? Am I capable? Am I the person for this season in my life to move into that place? And so for a little bit this week, especially this week, we're going to be talking about how we can make that happen, how we can adjust accordingly so that we have more space, more capacity to execute and show up in our roles. Okay. I also promised you all that I was going to make sure I let you all know when things are happening. Hello, good morning. I was going to let you all know when stuff is happening. So I sent out an email this morning that said we were going live. I posted. I was like, listen, I'm trying to do better, okay? Of not just grabbing a cup of coffee and turning my camera on and showing up, okay? All right, so everyone take a deep breath. All week, we're talking about delegating. Okay. All week, we are talking about delegating. Good morning. I am going to be teaching a more official class. Hey, everybody, a more official class on delegating this Friday at 12 noon Central Time. 12 noon Central Time. For those of you who are not on our email list, Lude, would you do me a favor? Put in the comments, or someone put in the comments for me, www.themomathondiaries.com. Themomathondiaries.com. If you're not on the email list, all of the good stuff, all the smoke, the Momathon conference ticket details are going to our email list first. Okay, we're already working on, all contracts are signed. We're getting ready to be moving everyone into the hotel blocks early because we have an increased amount of attendees this year. And so we want to make sure that you guys are getting in the spot. You don't have to stay off site somewhere else. We want to make sure that you plan to attend and be present. So if you are not on the email list, thank you all for putting that website there, the momathondiaries.com. Just click on it. It's going to take you can drop your email in, and it will add you to the list. So you get all the good tea and all the information early. Okay. Yeah. All right. So all week, like I said, we're talking about delegating. Okay. We're going to be talking about how do I organize my life in such a way that I'm not feeling exasperated. I'm not feeling overwhelmed by all of the myriad of things that are happening in my universe at one time. Okay. If you are a woman leader, you are called to delegate. If you are a woman leader, you are called to delegate. If you are someone who you are working on how you're showing up in the world, how you're going to execute in the world, how you're going to handle all of this, I want you to know that you are called to delegate as well. And in a season of life, in a society that pressures us to be someone other than who we actually are, often I have to make myself reorganize. Okay. I have to force myself to reorganize. And for some reason, I have seen across the board how we will get frustrated, overwhelmed, exhausted, angry, all the things because we are trying to configure what do I delegate versus what do I hold on to? How do I manage versus how do I course correct and do some things differently? And so today I want us all week, really, I want us to be mindful of and analyzing what can I shift? What can I give away? How am I going to move to a different atmosphere, a different settling in myself where I no longer feel as though I'm running behind because I'm taking all of this stuff onto myself, onto my own back. I was sharing with a client this morning, like us as women, especially us as women of color, okay? She's Indian, I'm Black, right? Especially us as women of color, we have a tendency to force ourselves into something new. We have a tendency to take on responsibilities, tasks, often that nobody even asked you to take on. You just made the choice that this is what we were going to do. We decided that it has to be my responsibility if I'm going to be the woman I said I was going to be. It must be my responsibility to show up in this way versus us trying to create that transition and do something different. Okay. So I want us to analyze today. Let's talk about the delegating. Let's talk about making the choices. Let's talk about switching over what we're going to do versus how we're going to do it and all of these things. Okay. So I have taught from this book in the past. I'm going to be transparent that I have not read. I've read the book, and it was just okay. Like, it's a good book. Like, it's noteworthy. But in this book, The 12-Week Year, there's something in here that's amazing called the emotional cycle of change. Okay. I taught some of the cycle of change in my in the mastermind last night. Some of you all have heard me talk about it before, but I just want to illuminate for a second why the emotional cycle of change process is relative to delegating. Okay. So in this book, they show right here, you all see this roller coaster ride. Y'all see this? I've taught this before. This should look familiar. Okay. We see this something that looks like a roller coaster. Ooh, going the other way. It looks like a roller coaster. And these are the emotional roller coaster rides that we go through whenever we edit a behavior. Whenever we decide that we are going to change directions, self-improve, do some things differently, this is the roller coaster ride that we experience when we do that. Okay, when we do that, this is what happens. And so I was sharing with my clients last night. I was like, whatever decision you make, whatever goal you set, you are going to go on a roller coaster ride of emotional shifts with every single goal. Want to lose some weight? Roller coaster ride. Want to upgrade your business? Roller coaster ride. Want to be more consistent? Roller coaster ride. Want to improve your marriage? Roller coaster. Want to be a more present mom? Roller coaster. Want to stop yelling? Roller coaster. Want to do that gentle parenting thing? Roller coaster. All of these places in our life are areas where we can go on a roller coaster ride of experiencing what comes with changing our behavior, becoming someone new. And so whenever we go to grow a big goal and we realize we only have 24 hours in a day, there's only a short amount of time that we actually have to do all the things that we said we were going to do. When we begin to experience these feelings, we often have to embrace that it's not going to feel as like we thought it was. Okay. So when we have the emotional cycle of change, all of us start up here, pumped up, excited about life. Okay. All of us start, excuse me, I'm on the other side. All of us start in phase one, uninformed optimism. We all start here, excited, pumped up about life. Oh, of course I'm going back to school. Of course I'm deciding to run a marathon. Of course, I'm going to run a marathon. It's going to be fine. All I need to do is add a mile a week until you're at like 10, 12, 15 miles and you're questioning everything. Okay. So we go through these transitions, uninformed optimism. We're all excited at first whenever we set a goal, whenever we create a plan. And then when we realize how much it's going to take, we slip into phase two, informed pessimism. We slip into phase two, informed pessimism, when we realize it takes more than I thought it was going to take. This is more challenging than I thought. I didn't see this coming when I initially created this plan. I didn't know it was going to take all of this. Have you ever talk to me in the comments about a big goal that you've had in your life? Did you decide you were going to get healthy? Take your health and wellness seriously this year? Did you decide you were going to be a more present mom? Did you decide you were going to be more rested? Did you decide that you were going to trim some things off and implement those boundaries? Did you decide you were going to become a minimalist and give away half your stuff? What did you decide for yourself? With every decision that requires you to change your behavior, you will go on the roller coaster ride of change. How does delegating fit into this? Okay. How does it fit in? How does it all come together? So when you're going on the roller coaster ride of change, okay, you start with uninformed optimism. You slide down into informed pessimism, where you start to count the cost and realize it's harder than you thought it was. After that, most of us slip into something called the valley of despair. The valley of despair. This happens when we feel frustrated, overwhelmed, depressed, dismayed, despaired by how much is going to be required of me in order to execute well on this idea or this goal. Once I realize how much is required, is this ever going to happen for me? Will I ever become the person that actually shows up and does the thing? Will I become that person? Will I do that? So now we need to analyze accordingly. Am I willing to be that one? Okay. Am I willing? Am I ready? Am I capable? Am I grounded enough to be the person that moves to the other side towards fulfillment and success in reaching the goal? So somewhere in this process, you realize there's only 24 hours in the day. Somewhere in this process, you realize you need some extra help. Somewhere in this process, you start to see I'm only one person. I need to make some amendments and make some adjustments. I need to bring in the troops. I want to zero in today that delegating the Momathon way takes three things. Delegating takes time. Learning to delegate takes training. Good morning. And learning to delegate takes trust. Delegation successfully, the Momathon way, takes time, training, and trust. Somebody put that in the comments for me. Time, training, and trust. Takes those three things. Most of the time, when we think about asking for help, giving some things away, all of this stuff, we see that one trusty Instagram post or whatever that tells us to do some things differently. Good morning. To do some things differently, and then we just assume it's going to happen. We just assume it's going to unfold and come to life. No. Let me give you a hard stop right there. Delegating takes way more than just you changing your mind and deciding you're going to ask for help. For the majority of us, just the idea of asking for help ignites the emotional cycle of change. Asking for help is an edit of your behavior. Is this good? Asking for help is an edit of your own behavior. You have to change yourself in order to even invite people in, to be humble enough to accept support. Whether that's from your spouse, significant other, from your children, hiring an assistant, being vulnerable enough to let a cleaning service come in your messy house. Whatever it is, good morning, you have to be willing to accept the support. This ignites the cycle of change. Just you welcoming something extra into your world is an edit of your behavior. You changed the behavior. And whenever you change a behavior, you go on the roller coaster ride. So here we are. We saw this post on Instagram or whatever that says, oh, I'm going to start asking for help. I'm creating boundaries. I'm delegating mental wellness, self-care, all the stuff, right? I love it, but it's a buzzword at this point because it doesn't show us how to create it. It doesn't show us how to do it. As soon as you go to start asking for help, you start the process of going through the emotions of preparing your family and your home as you become a different person. I'm not talking to everybody today. I'm talking about the women who, when you started the new year, you knew exactly what you were coming for. You knew exactly what you wanted to accomplish. I'm talking to the women who are called to lead, who are called to influence, and you know you only have 24 hours in a day. You know you only have a certain amount of time in order to execute and show up and serve the world. You only got so much time. I can't keep micromanaging everybody. And so when you delegate, delegating takes time, training, and trust. And for the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about delegating takes time. And then tomorrow on Wednesday, I'm going to be talking about how delegating takes trust. And then on Thursday, I'm going to talk about how today is time, tomorrow is training, Thursday will be trust. And then on Friday, I'm going to bring it all together. Okay, on Friday, I'm going to bring it all together during our coffee chat at 12 noon on Friday. Okay, here's what I want us to influence. Once you decide to become someone new, once you decide that these big, audacious, incredible goals are for you, you're going to need to delegate some things. Okay. You're going to need to move some things off of your plate. You're going to need to adjust your behavior to accepting help, asking for help, going to find the help if it's not immediately there. And that will cause you to go on the roller coaster ride of changing your behavior. Whenever you change a behavior, roller coaster ride. Everybody got that? The more goals you have, the more roller coaster rides you will experience. They didn't teach you that in a book. It's what I know to be true. the more goals you have in your life, your mental health, your physical health, your home environment, taking care of your children, sexing your man more often, all of this stuff, these goals that you have. I'm running a marathon in November. All these goals you have require a change of your behavior. They require you to change. And with every single one, you wonder why you feel overwhelmed. You wonder why you feel like you have so much going on. The reason is because you have multiple roller coasters, because you have multiple goals. You have multiple roller coasters because of multiple goals. And so during the process, you realize I can't manage all of this just me. I only have 24 hours in the day. I've heard that lady with the really fabulous mohawk on the internet talking about learning to delegate. What does that look like in my world? What does that look like for me? And so the idea is first that delegating takes time. Okay, if you're wondering, this is the book, The 12-Week Year. Delegating takes time, number one. Okay. For some of us, you have been the primary problem solver in your life for years. For years. You've been the person that put the fires out. You've problem solved. You've troubleshooted. You've been the person that everyone, when something happens, they call your name. You have been the person that has been that level of a problem solver for years. Something goes wrong, they're calling you. I have a question, calling you. Caretaker for parents, problem solver at work, calling you. You've been that person for years. And somehow you feel as though because you saw this lady with the mohawk on the internet talking about delegating, or you saw this post about delegating, that it was going to resolve magically, right? It was going to resolve magically to fix itself so that it wasn't going to be an issue anymore. I endeavor to say, just like with weight loss after you have a baby, right? They say it takes 9 months to grow the baby. Give yourself 9 months to lose the weight. Some of us need 9 years, but that's another conversation. Give yourself at least 9 months to lose the weight, right? But then I challenge that if it took you a year of saying yes to others, 2 years, 5 years of saying yes to others, that it might take you at least 6 months, at least a year to release the reins and let other people step in to support, to teach other people how to support, to open yourself up to all of the amazingness and all of the, the uniqueness that comes with this unfolding for you. Like, what if it took time? Like you've been the problem solver, the primary problem solver in your life for years. And somehow we feel as though seeing a Facebook Live or Instagram post or whatever is going to undo that handcuffing that you've experienced in your life. What if it takes time to undo that? One of my clients, she is an expat. Her and her husband, they moved from California. They moved from California all the way to Portugal, right? And I was sharing with her today as we were talking about her coaching and what she's offering. And I was like, how incredible would it be for someone to have a coach walking with them from realizing they want to quit their job and move somewhere else, to walking them through the process of releasing, to the packing up and choosing where they're going to move, and getting acclimated in a new country. I said, what if someone had a whole year of support working through life transitions? How much easier would that transition be for that person if they had this extended support? It's not just the idea of I want to pack up and move to another country. It's not just the idea of you wanting to start your own business or scale the business or take your place on stage or become an influencer or any of these things, these goals that we have, run a marathon, whatever the goal is. It took time for you to grow the baby. Can it take time for us to drop the extra? Hi, Sandra. Can it take time for us to drop the extra? Okay. If you've been the problem solver in your world for years, what makes you feel like you seeing the Facebook Live or the Instagram post is going to unhandcuff you from all of those yeses that you gave away so liberally over the years? You gave them away freely over the years. You said yes. You took your boundaries down. And now that the backpack feels too heavy, now that it feels very weighted down, like I'm not sure what's going on, it just feels heavier than it used to. Now that it feels heavier, I want to take some things off and give it away, but it's going to take time. For some of us, we have enjoyed being the problem solver. For some of us, we've enjoyed it. It's good for our ego to say, I'm the one that fixes it. Good morning. It's been good for our ego to say, you know what? If you need me, call me. Sometimes that's a trauma response, right? I'll be there. I got it. I'll help. I'm a loyalist. My husband and I, we're unpacking right now how we're loyalists in some ways that are no longer serving us. Like, you know what? We've been loyal to a fault. You know what? It might be time to say, you know what? No more. I get to put those boundaries back up whenever I want. I get to make those choices. Sandra says, yes, I can definitely relate as a new business owner. In how many ways are we holding on to some things and we're allowed to say, I choose not to do that anymore? You can't even delegate without this realization or actualization that we get to let it go. How many times have we been loose on our own boundaries, said yes to things that really weren't serving, whatever those things are for you, right? And now that you don't want to do it anymore, you're like, wait a second, they're still expecting this of me. They're still expecting this of me. Wait a minute. They're still looking for me to be this person. Wait a second. Oh, that feeling of completion and fulfillment, and you just begin to feel like, oh, when I am this for these other people, it feels so good. Okay, let's just check that. Wait a minute. You can't be fully who God is expecting and looking to you to be, who he wants you to be, if we're still holding on to that. So if you're going to reclaim your time, that's all we're talking about this week, getting your hours back, sis. We're just talking about you getting your hours back. If we were going to analyze that for ourselves, that delegating takes some time. You have been committed to being the person for other people. You've been the problem solver. You put the fires out for an extensive period of time. And now that you're wanting to turn that off, this is beautiful. I'm proud of you. I'm applauding you. But it's going to take time for you to go back out and get those yeses that you gave. It's going to take time. Can we be okay with that? Can we be okay? Like, sometimes when it gets harder than we think, that's when we slip from the informed pessimism or like kind of feeling negative about the situation into the valley of despair. Hi, Delisha. Into the valley of, we get depressed, we get frustrated, we feel despair, we feel overwhelmed because this is harder than I thought it was going to be. That Instagram post told me to put boundaries up and delegate. It did not tell me how. It did not tell me how. And so here I am, ready to stop being the problem solver, ready to stop putting out fires, ready to focus on my own mental health and physical health and all of these things. Wait a second. Now I'm trying to undo the yeses I so freely gave. I was fine with it then. I'm not fine with it anymore. I need my time back. I need to go and reclaim the time, right? I need to go ahead and get that energy back, get that vibe back. Wait a second. It's not serving me anymore. But now that we're doing this, right now that we're doing this, it requires something different from you. It requires you to become someone different, to feel audacious and bold, and to love the goal that you're building, the family you're building, more than you love the opinions and validation of others. I had to decide, you know what? I am humble enough to say every now and then I call my cleaning lady, girl, I've been coaching on fire. I need somebody to come wipe, like really wipe the stuff down. I don't have time to just be, I don't have time right now. My bandwidth isn't there. I need you to come on in, and I need you to go ahead, girl, work through these piles of stuff because it's not working. It's delegating. I can remember when my business went up a notch, and I was like, baby, we need to hire a cleaning service because I just cannot, right? You know how we get. I just cannot, girl. I'm like, mm-mm. And then I remember my husband saying, okay, sure, whatever. But it was when he said, y'all hear me, laugh at me, okay? When my husband said, we should hire a cleaning service, I got in my feelings. My feelings was hurt. I was like, what do you mean? Are you saying that I am not on top of things? Are you saying that I'm not a great mama, work at home mom? I'm on top of everything. Is that what you're telling me? I'm very offended by this statement. Girl, you just said the same thing a month ago. He's just agreeing with you. There's things that need to get done that you don't have the bandwidth to do anymore. Y'all, I have 16 ladies in the Momathon Mastermind. In addition, I have several one-to-one clients. I'm doing speaking. I got a speaking engagement today at noon for the Mom Project. So exciting. If y'all follow them on Instagram, follow Instagram, LinkedIn. They're amazing. So I got a speaking engagement today. I'm speaking for Hyatt next month. Ain't nobody got time to be toothbrushing no corners in the kitchen. Right? Momathon moved from a blog. It is a full-time coaching consultant. Like, I do this thing every day now. I haven't even been live like I'm supposed to be. So I'm like, I'm promising I'm coming back and we're going to be talking more about all of these things in the framework. But I'm like, things picked up, right? In the last couple of years. So I had to make the decision, okay, you know what? This over here isn't working. This over here has to work. Right? If you're becoming more of who you said you were going to become, these are the changes that are going to happen. You will go on the emotional cycle of change. Where did it go? You're going to go on that roller coaster ride as you become a new person. The Momathon Christina of 2024 is completely different than the Momathon Christina of 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. When all I wanted was Momathon to be like just a source of encouragement, and it still is. But now it's like, oh, we're working with women leaders. We're working with women who own businesses and are founding nonprofits and starting schools and are educational entrepreneurs and running for public office and actresses and attorneys. This is a whole different thing. We're talking to women who are empowered and ready to do everything at the next level. I had to learn to delegate in order to be the person that could lead them to do it too. Good morning. In order to be that person, wait a second. You can't do that. You can't be this individual still thinking like you used to think. So with every single new behavior, you're going to go on the emotional cycle of change. You're going to go on this roller coaster ride that starts out with, I didn't realize I'm so excited about this goal. Okay. Then you start working towards it and you realize it's harder than you thought it was. And so you go on the emotional cycle of change, this roller coaster ride that ends with you fulfilling your goal, hopefully. But that takes time. Learning to delegate and give some things away takes time. learning to breathe and accept help and ask for help. And if you don't have anyone volunteering to go and find the help, make more money, sis, so you can hire the help. This is a whole different conversation. You might just need to make more money. You might have to make more money. I'm about to put my cleaning lady on a come every month and wipe everything down package. Because I'm not going to, the bandwidth isn't there anymore. Delegating requires time, training, and trust. And with a focus on time today, some of us have been the person that handled it all of our lives. You've handled it even as long as you've been in a relationship or had kids. You've been solving problems. You've been putting the fires out. You've been the person, mom, baby, I need that. Right? How do I need to restructure some things and do it differently now that it's no longer serving me in that way? How do I restructure it now that it's so it works better? I might need to look at this list of things that I have here and realize there's some stuff that I do that directly impact how I show up in the world, how I show up in my business, all this kind of stuff. So I might not send the emails that need to get sent out about even going live today, right? I need to do that. Or we have master classes coming up, or we have events coming up and all this stuff. I'm not planning for these crucial things because I'm hovering over putting the laundry away. I refuse. Can you refuse? Can we decide that I'm going to lean all the way into being this person I see myself being this year? I'm just going to be 100% that person, as opposed to micromanaging and hovering over. But first, in order for you to take off the Superwoman cape and lay all these things aside, and we're getting ready to wrap up, you have to remember it's going to take time. You don't just get to wake up in the morning and assume the virtual assistant knows everything you need, assume she knows where everything is, assume that she's going to do everything perfectly, and you haven't taught her or him. Okay? You cannot just wake up and assume that your children know how to clean the kitchen the way you want it, or keep the living room and dining room tidied up the way you like, or whatever. You can't just wake up and assume. If you've been the person that always did the kids' doctor's appointments or dentist appointments or all this stuff, your husband might not even know where all the insurance stuff is. You've always been the one that did that. It is not a lesser or better. You all just both had different jobs, but now you might be delegating a little bit more than you used to. Are you willing to take the time to show them what needs to happen differently? I was a stay-at-home mom only for the majority of our marriage. Momathon's been around now for about 10 years, but it wasn't my job. It wasn't the work I did. You see what I'm saying? So now it's different. It's like, okay, every Monday night I'm meeting with the mastermind. Okay, Tuesdays and Fridays I'm coaching. It's different. Now this is the main, it went from being a side chick to the main squeeze. Okay? So now I get to orchestrate and move things around in my little ways. Okay? But it took time for me to unpack that. It took time for me to be okay with accepting the help, to be okay with walking forward, communicating better with my spouse. It took time for all of this. It's not just going to unfold. So can we, as a tribe, accept that I will need to adjust my expectations? Can we decide I will adjust my expectations of myself, of the people that I love, and the people that are in my sphere of influence? I will adjust my expectations so that they can walk forward with me. We grow together, but I'm also sharing, hey, I don't think I have the bandwidth for this like I used to. I could really use some help. I could really use some support in this specific way. I've itemized it out in a specific way so that they understand. Okay. All right. So I got to go so that my husband can do the things he needs to do today. And I have a speaking engagement in about 40 minutes. So this is our first installment of talking about delegating. I'll be live again tomorrow at it's 11 tomorrow again at 10:30 or 11 o'clock. Be on the email list. An email will go out right before so that you guys can join. They put it in the caption or in the the momathondiaries.com. Just click that and it will add you to the email list. Okay, we have Momathon conference details coming out this month, within the next couple weeks. That information, we have hotel information coming out. You got to book your room this week because we are expecting, like, I'm talking about ASAP, because we are expecting more attendees than last year. Very exciting. And so we're doing some big things. You guys need to be tapped in order to see everything that's happening. And then last but not least, I am excitedly looking for some really amazing women who want to work with a coach one-to-one for the next 6 months. For the next 6 months. It's about to be March. So this literally takes us almost up to the Momathon conference time, okay? Where all of my clients from this year will VIP with me on Friday. I'm really looking for women who have these you can close your eyes, you can see yourself. You see yourself as this audacious and amazing woman. You see yourself on the stage doing the thing, right? Like you see it, you can feel it. It's tangible inside, but maybe the path to get there is feeling a little fuzzy. Okay? Maybe intertwining all of the moving pieces in your life feels challenging. While some are afraid of all of the layers, I love them. I love that you want to be a present wife. I love that you want to be a nurturing and patient mom. I love that you want to be his hot girlfriend. I love that you want that 6-figure business. I love that you want to organize your home well. I love that you want to practice healthy mental wellness, physical wellness. I love all of the moving pieces. And the emotional cycle of change in each one of these areas can make it feel very overwhelming. Okay. But you're allowed to opt out of the overwhelm. You're allowed to decide that you're not going to do that anymore. Okay. And so together, my clients, we move from, the overthinking and the doing too much and feeling like everything is running together to being able to execute on the ideas without feeling like you're maxed out. And without feeling like I need to work all day, every day, constantly head down in the dirt, moving, we get to remove ourselves from that so we can be more present for the people that we love. Okay. One of my clients, she was sharing last night, she was like, I've gone through the emotional cycle of change so many times. She said, but because I had coaching, she's been working with me almost a year. So because I've had coaching to catch me and support me and help me see what's coming, I was so much more able to be resilient and do it even when I felt like it was a lot. Okay. So this is your invitation. This is your invitation. I'm talking to you. Okay, where you have all the moving pieces, you want to get organized, you see this goal, you want to take it to the next level, and you're like, okay, Christina, like y'all can look up productivity coaching or coaching for moms or any of those things, and there'll be a whole lot of folks that pop up. Okay, but Momathon has been around since before talking about self-care and getting rid of the mom martyrdom was a thing. 13 years ago, we were talking about it. When I was a young mom of 3 kids, 2 and under, we were talking about it then. Okay. And so I want to help you, support you. Hey, Sandra. Help you, support you, walk with you, okay, for the next 6 months in order to dive into what's coming next for you. Do you believe that it's for you? And if so, how can we move and work together in order to go there? Okay. So this is your invitation. My DMs are open. Okay. Come slide me a message. Just say coffee chat or whatever. I'll send you the link and we can talk about your amazing and audacious goals that you have coming up for this year and how we can intertwine all of the moving pieces in order to create a system and a plan that works. Okay. All right, that's it for today. I will see you all tomorrow. Let's just set a time of 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be back again tomorrow morning to talk about how delegating takes training. Okay. Today was time, tomorrow is training. All right. So I will see you guys then. Turn on your notifications, join the email list. Don't be talking about, girl, we miss you. We ain't know, because it's right there in front of you. Okay. And we want you guys to be present and engaged for all of the great things that are coming. I look forward to talking with you all about coaching, and we'll see you all tomorrow. All right. Have a great day. Love you all dearly, and I'll see you then.